All right, so Bukayo Saka back on the scoring sheet for Arsenal. I know Yao disagrees that Mikel Arteta should just shut him down for the rest of the season because there's really nothing to play for when it comes to giving Liverpool some competition in regards to the title race. On the part of the Champions League, they've got Madrid to take care of. So, yeah, actually thinks that, Charlie, if I were to be Mikel Arteta, I would just say it's curtains for you. Just recover really well, and then let's start 2026, 2025, 2026 season. But Arsenal take on Everton on Saturday at the Goodison Park. It's early kickoff, 11:30 a.m. Let's see if they can continue with that win against Fulham. Let me start off with you, Yao. You were not too happy with Mikel Merino's goal. The way the goal came about. I was with you on radio, and we had a lot of people actually disagreeing with some of the things we said over there. It's a difficult test for Mikel Arteta because Everton, they lost to Liverpool. They are away from the red zone, but they will then want to win. A game that is at home in front of their fans at the Goodison Park. It's always tough, a tough ground to go play at.
Yeah, a very tough ground to go play at. I remember last week, seated right here, I predicted that I see a score draw in that game between Arsenal and Fulham. I honestly didn't consider what Fulham would do in the FA Cup in the lead up to that game. That would have definitely informed my prediction, and I would have leaned towards Arsenal winning. I think Bukayo Saka was the difference because if you look at the goals that were scored in that game, Rodrigo Muniz's goal kind of had a lucky bounce to it. Mikel Merino's goal also had a kind of lucky bounce to it. It was the Saka goal that was quite well worked with the Martinelli run and the combination, and he combination with Merino and he flicking the ball to Bukayo Saka to not home. Yeah, that was a very well worked goal. But I still stand on what I said, that there's no point playing him because next season is a very crucial season for Mikel Arteta. That you can simply not have any slip-ups. And to
add context to it, they've lost Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel Maguire
list again.
So you just can't have any slip-ups. The excuses won't wash because at the end of the day, the next season is more or less like a make or break season for Mikel Arteta. And you know that next season too will be quite heavy when it comes to the international fixtures because it's the lead up to the World Cup. Once next season is done, then there's a World Cup coming up. And so looking at Bukayo Saka's certain or inevitable involvement with the Three Lions, the last thing you want is to have him run out of gas later on in the campaign and contribute to Arsenal missing out on a title. So let him rest as much as possible this time around that pretty much everything is lost. Look, they are not beating Real Madrid. Even if they beat Real Madrid, they are not going to win the Champions League. I'm no God, but per what I have seen from Real Madrid, per what I've seen from Arsenal in the Champions League, I don't see them winning the title. So if you don't win the title, that means that it's a season that has been lost, because I believe that it's a season that has been lost already because you missed out on competing or winning the Premier League title. And so I still stick with what I said, that I honestly don't understand why Mikel Arteta is playing.
We'll still keep playing
Bukayo Saka. But for this game, with the absence of Gabriel Maguire, Kiwior will be tested. And the fact that Calafiori also isn't available. So Kiwior will be the one who will line up on the left side of William Saliba in that central defense. And looking at what Beto did to Darwin Núñez and Ibrahima Konate in midweek when they played against Liverpool, he will definitely be in that buoyant mood to go up against William Saliba and Jacob Kiwior. And knowing how David Moyes will set up his team, he will definitely have him Beto have a go at Kiwior, who hasn't really stood out when it comes to those physical challenges, one-on-one situations, defending against opposing strikers. And so, I think I'll hedge my bet against this time another draw.
Another draw.
I think I'll hedge my bet against another draw.
So let me drag into the conversation. Everton are a different beast when they are playing at the Goodison Park. Two things I want to touch on. Beto looks like a transformed player ever since Moyes arrived. Moyes himself was on a very good run. I think their last 4 games, they've drawn. It's been 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1, and that kind of stuff. Up until they lost to Liverpool. So it's mostly close shave. What are you expecting on the part of the Toffees?
Well, like you said, they're a solid team defensively, difficult to break down. And we've said this about Arsenal since the injury crisis up front. Even we were saying this before the injury crisis, that sometimes they struggle to break teams down. So now it's even more pronounced because some of these players are unavailable. You now think, okay, Bukayo Saka is back. They're definitely going to look a lot better since he's their best creator and their best player. But, like I said, how much do you want him to play this season? How much do you want? Because his hamstring just ruptured. He's now getting back. We're yet to see whether he'll be the same level. The only thing I can say, the only silver line is not a player who relies a lot on his pace. So because of that, he is likely to be at a similar level for sure, because this is not a guy who he's running past people, he's a powerful runner, he's a very technical guy, very smart player. So I think he will be fine, but you never know. So I don't want him to be playing too many games. I'm happy he came on, I'm happy he scored. It's a good one. If he starts, I hope he doesn't play more than 60, 70 minutes, because you have Real Madrid coming midweek. That one, I can understand if you want to play 90 minutes against Real Madrid, because you have to go for it. You have to, you have to test Real Madrid as much as you can. But Everton will not be an easy game. And truly, the title is likely lost. I mean, you have to keep going. You have to keep hoping that you can win it. But realistically, the title is lost. If Arteta is serious about the Champions League, where they have every opportunity to win it, in my opinion, because it's Champions League football. What if someone gets injured? What if someone gets a red card early? You have to be able to take advantage. So it might be in their interest to rest players, but the optics of resting players and giving up on the title race too is not good. So in a difficult situation where you have to push and play your strongest team to show that, okay, we are serious about the title race, because you want to put pressure on Liverpool in case they slip up. But at the same time, realistically, you are wasting your energy. So it's a very difficult situation. But it's a difficult matchup for sure. I think Everton you see this with Everton, you see with Newcastle. They are the teams that really worry Arsenal, because they know how to defend solidly, they know how to defend deep, they don't give up space, and they are dangerous on the transition. Arsenal are quite good defending transition, because Gabriel and Saliba are great at it, but with Kyo there, I'm not sure. Maybe Calafiori will be a bit more, but Kyo is not particularly fast. He's not particularly, defensively aware. He's a decent centre-back, but he's not a centre-back that's going to win you the Premier League. He's the type of guy that, okay, if you play him 3-4 games in a Premier League season, it's fine. But going into the running, knowing that you're trying to haul Liverpool in, he's not the guy for that. So for me, I think Gabriel's injury is going to be, look, it's like everything has gone badly. We're hoping that, okay, now Saka is coming back, maybe something will happen. Then Gabriel goes. It's like give and take. One comes back, one goes. And you are back to square one, because that defensive solidity that was keeping Arsenal in games, that made you think that, okay, they can sneak a 0-0 against Real Madrid, maybe win 1-0, maybe go to penalties. You're thinking, without Gabriel, how possible is that? So for me, I'm just worried for them, because it's going to be a new centre-back partnership. Saliba and Kiwior, like you said, Beto looks a lot better. Yeah. And he could cause them a lot of trouble. If he targets Kiwior, it could be very, what's the word I'm looking for? It could be very upsetting for Arsenal fans. Let me put it that way.
But guys, quickly, what do you think will be the game plan from Moyes? I'm asking this because that game against Liverpool, what I realized was that he set his team to be very compact. Everton were very deep, and they were relying on Beto and sometimes Jack Harrison for the transition. This time around, like he said, there's no Gabriel Magalhaes there. Don't you think Moyes will look at the starting lineup and say, okay, let's not pay too much respect to Arsenal? You disagree?
No. David Moyes is a man. We know who he is.
You mean he will change?
We know who he is.
Okay.
The thing is, he would have played like that. That's his preferred game plan. Don't give too much to the opposition. Just sit back, keep it compact, hit the team on the counter, exploit the spacing behind. That's how he likes to play. So it's even better for him when teams want to come onto him. That's when he's more excited, because he knows that everyone will understand when he does it. When he goes against a team that's not as good and he does it, then the fans get a bit upset and stuff. But against a team like this, where everyone expects Arsenal to dominate the ball, he's very happy to give it up to them. So he was going to do it anyway, and he's very unlikely to change. In fact, he's going to think to themselves, that's good. Like, they will push her further forward, and Kiwior is not as pacey. You can get him behind him easier. So I think he likes this setup for sure.
So
if I'm David Moyes, I'm starting Elimani Ndiaye ahead of Jack Harrison.
Okay, so you do a quick change.
Yeah, just a quick change in that starting lineup. Yeah, Jack Harrison started. Yeah, and Elimani Ndiaye came from the bench. And I understand he recently came back from injury, but I'm seeing Jack Harrison with several progressive passing opportunities, several attacks. All he had to do was just continue the progress of the ball or of the move, and then Everton will have a very great chance of getting a goal or two, or getting a really proper chance. And for the most part, he wasted all of those opportunities. And he was taken off in the second half. Elimani Ndiaye came on, and he showed quite some good promise in there. And so for me, that's the change I will make. Take off Jack Harrison, or no, not take him off. Replace Jack Harrison in that starting lineup with Elimani Ndiaye. And looking at how Lewis Kelly, the role that he played in that Fulham goal scored by Rodrigo Muniz, his lack of, I wouldn't say lack of, his limited defensive acumen came to the fore, where he tried to jump the passing lane and make an interception, but the player was able to read that and just lob the ball in behind him. And in that situation, Elimani Ndiaye, quite a very good player and a winger, having Lewis Kelly there on that side of the pitch with Kyrgios. Yeah, he being technically good player that he is. Yeah, he should be the one to start ahead of Jack Harrison. And yeah, they should be able to get a goal in there. And that's why I'm going with a draw.
Okay, so a 1-1 draw, a 2-0 draw.
A score draw.
A score draw. Susu, who is winning?
This one is a tough one. This gives me a 1-1, 0-0 kind of game. It's going to be it seems low scoring to me.
Okay.